Welcome to Parent Coaches Unleashed, the podcast where we dive into the highs, lows, and did that really just happen moment of parenting teens and young adults. We're Carrie and Jessica, parent coaches, mythbusters, and occasional referees in the battle of hormones versus common sense.
If you've ever wondered, is this just happening to me? You're not alone. We're here to help you with real talk, expert advice, and hopefully a few laughs along the way. Need more support? We also offer private coaching, workshops, and speaking engagements because sometimes even parents don't have all the answers.
So continue listening as we tackle this parenting journey together.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Parent Coaches Unleashed. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Jessica. We are on location today. So those of you who watch us versus just listen, we have a different backdrop.
Yes, we took it outside today. We have people tanning to our right. We have people swimming in the pool. And Carrie and I are just enjoying this beautiful weather and getting ready to talk to you about something that I've kept telling Carrie, there's something here. I just don't know what it's going to look like or sound like. Um, I feel really strongly about the power of words. And yes, absolutely for parents, but I've really felt this way about teachers too. And truly, I think the power of our words or the power of I think the power of our words impact others more than we can even imagine.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Well said. And
So
it's something that we can only observe like when we're present and paying attention and being thoughtful. But when we're emotional and reactive, I think we just say things and maybe later want to take them back. So
that
it,
is absolutely one way, but I don't think it's just that. I think it's also people say things in a joking manner. Like,
Mm.
they think they're being funny, but what might be funny to you, someone might not interpret that. Maybe you struck a chord with an insecurity that they have, and then they're like, oh, oh my gosh, do they really see me that way?
Mm-hmm.
I was early on in my career, I was working with a family and we were having this discussion about their child being lazy. What I said to them, if you continue to call your child lazy, eventually they're going to identify as lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the dad said, I don't buy it. And for me, it's almost like a name. Your child is born, and until you give them their name, what are they? They're just baby. So if I start saying, oh, Carrie, Carrie, come, Carrie, we love you, Carrie, then you identify as Carrie.
Yes.
So I think my client actually got the picture then that it's
Mm-hmm.
not just a word that you're using lightly. It's something that your child is going to internalize. So instead of naming them for what you perceive as their action, I would just name the action. I think you could try harder than just sitting on the couch. Is there something else you can be doing right now? Is there a better use of your time?
Let's just talk about this lazy word. Don't you think that, and I'm saying this to all parents listening, when you call your kid lazy or you name the action of them, you're observing them and you're interpreting it as lazy, assuming because they haven't done a task or done something that either you asked them to do or that they're supposed to be doing at this given time. But the one thing I will question is, as parents, why do we even say it? They know. A child knows when there's something that they're supposed to be doing and they're avoiding doing it, they already feel a certain way. And so for us to either call them lazy or name the action as lazy, we are just adding on top of what they're already telling themselves in their head. Because as humans, unfortunately, we are all programmed with the negative self
Yes.
talk.
Yep.
And we have to work really hard, even as adults, to not talk to ourselves in such negative ways. Like when we forget something or we missed an appointment or we're running late, what do we say to ourselves? Oh, I should have done better, or I forgot that, or oh, you're an idiot, or whatever you say.
Right, right, right,
Instead of, okay, you know what? I showed up. I'm going to do better next time. What is that?
right.
Why do we talk to ourselves in a negative way? But I went off on a
No,
tangent
no, no.
because we feel the need to share how we're viewing things that our children do, both positive and negative. But what is that? What's that need?
So this is where one of my favorite quotes from Ted Lasso comes into play. Instead of being judgmental, be curious.
Hmm.
So instead of being ready to call your child, your coworker, yourself a word that could be deemed as derogatory, and since we started with lazy, let's stick with lazy. So instead of saying, "Why are you being lazy and sitting on the couch again?" Maybe it's, "I notice that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing right now. Is there a reason? Is something blocking you? Do you need help getting started? Are you unmotivated?
Hmm.
How can I support you?" Be curious about why they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or whatever the action is. Listen, I feel like we're so layered. We have so much going on. We're all also so overscheduled. And I feel like if there's something, a repetitiveness to our behavior or our child's behavior, there's a reason for it.
Hmm.
And getting curious about why might help you understand what's going on for your child in that moment.
Right. And it also gets them to talk or feel comfortable communicating. When you approach with your judgment of what they're doing, they're already on the defense
Yeah.
or feeling a certain way about what you've now said. If it
Yeah.
comes with an open ended question or a tell me what's going on for you,
Right.
there's no judgment there. It's just, I want to, as your parent, listen to what you might be thinking at this moment in time.
So another something else I wanted to bring up about our words is that you might say something and go on with your day, but whoever you said that to, if whatever they're feeling in that moment, it can be so impactful that they will carry it with them for days, weeks, even years to come.
Mhm.
I'm going to give you an example for me. Um when I was in college, I went away to college and I gained the freshman 15. For me, it was a sophomore because I transferred schools. And towards the end of my year away, my mom sent me a card with a picture of a cow on the front. And on the inside, it said, it was written, "Party till the cows come home." And she wrote, "I can't wait for my cow to come home." I graduated college in 1991. So we are no, I didn't. I graduated college in 1993.
I wanted to graduate in 91, but
So that it's that many years ago. And that is still I still see the card. I still
When you look
hear
at
those
cows
words.
when you look at cows, do you think a certain way?
But now, listen, I feel like my mom was trying to be funny and humorous. And years later, when I did question it about her, she told me, "Oh, you can't take a joke." But but for me, because I knew I had gained weight and because I was already feeling insecure about it, that was just like that was another layer of, oh
Mhm.
my God, like even my mom thinks I don't look good. So that's what that was for me in that moment and why I've carried it with me all this time.
Yeah, so it goes back to that same point of they already know.
Right.
Your kids already know whatever it is you feel, you believe, whatever judgment or opinion you have of their situation or something that maybe they might be struggling with. You
Yeah.
don't have to point it out. You don't have to keep naming it. You just have to, as Jessica suggested, be curious.
So that's why I said also at the beginning that I really feel that this could apply to so many
Mhm.
teachers as well,
Mhm.
because in my former life, I was a teacher and people would question, do you think it makes a difference that you don't have kids? And at the time, I was like, no, I am an excellent teacher. It doesn't matter if I
Mhm.
have kids or not. And then I had kids, and my kids went to school, and I would hear the things that my, my kids would say that teachers said when they came home from school. And I don't listen. Believe that teachers are the most underpaid profession out there. I think they are one of, if not the most important professions out there because they're molding our young, because they're with our kids in some instances more than we are.
Mhm.
And I think if teachers take the time to get curious about what their kids are coming to school with,
Mhm.
they would see them in a whole new light. Every child that walks through their door is coming with a backstory. You didn't do your homework. Instead of yelling at them or giving them a demerit or whatever your system is, get curious as to why. Maybe they had to take care of their sibling. Maybe they had, who knows? There are a plethora of reasons a kid could have missed their homework. And it could just be that they just didn't do their homework. Get curious about it. And I know that's a lot to ask when you have a class of however many kids they're sticking in a classroom these days, but just a piece of advice, just something that might work for you is to try to find out the underlying reason.
Mhm.
This was a perfect example. One of my kids came home and told me that a teacher yelled at someone in their classroom for falling asleep during their class. Now, to me, I would want to know why. Hey, is everything all right? Did you get enough sleep? Something going on? Am I just boring you? Do you feel like you need know the topic already? Whatever it is, I feel like you would get so much more from that student if you got curious about what was really going on for them rather than yelling at them and throwing them out of the classroom because they fell asleep in your class.
Mhm.
In that moment, I think we get caught up in it's you're in my classroom, you're falling asleep. That's disrespectful. But try not to make it about you and try to figure out what is going on with your student. I feel like that just goes so much further than get up and get out. I don't have time for this.
Yes, I agree. And I think there's a time and a place to have those conversations with whether it's your student, your child, right? You wait for the right time and place to have those conversations,
Yeah.
not in front of other people, not blurting it out the minute we impulsively have a thought and a feeling as the adult. It's you respect them and know that probably what you're going to say could be embarrassing, might come with some emotion.
Yep.
And so to have a one on one conversation, the same way that if someone was approaching you to talk to you about something that they were curious about, you would want it to be in a one off
Right.
and not in front of the entire family or at the dinner table or in a classroom full of kids. You know, think, and again, it's about sometimes about our need to control as the parent or the adult, or
Sure.
our lack of impulse control. We had this thought and this feeling, and you just want to say something and you just blurt it out. And maybe it is. Maybe sometimes, whether it's the parent or the teacher, thinks that a little bit of embarrassment might do the kid some good, but I don't think that's in any way the right way to go about it, as we would not want to feel that way
Yeah.
ourselves. And I don't think that embarrassing someone corrects behavior
No.
because, oh, I don't want to feel that way again, so I'm not going to do that.
And I guarantee if you go back into your memory and find things that people have said to you, or if you ask your kids or listeners, if you think back, it is much easier to recall the negative than it is
The
to
positive.
recall the positive or
Mhm.
kindness that was done, because as Carrie said, our brains are wired for the negative.
Mhm.
So uh, you can those are on recall. I mean, those are they're like at the forefront of your mind.
Yes. Yes.
And
One.
most likely because they called out something that either you were insecure about or that you were questioning about yourself, or even something that was maybe an embarrassing moment. There was a negative connotation attached to it. So it's something that you hold on to.
Yeah. And thinking back to things you casually say as parents, or I will say that I had done to my kids. We're trying to teach independence and build an independent, confident young person.
Yep.
And thinking back to the whole, and I have boys, and one cared about how he dressed and how he
Mhm.
looked, and the other didn't. And me as a person, that was important to me about myself, but I could not put that on my children. Or as a younger parent, I didn't think that they would have their own identity and personality. And like, I was thinking this is part of my
Sure.
role to help them. But looking back, that is something that I would change when they got dressed themselves, right? Because now you've empowered them. Hey, you're big enough, you pick out your own clothes, you get dressed, I'll see you for breakfast, whatever the routine was. And then they show up in something that's either dirty or mismatched or looks like it came from the bottom of their hamper, right? My reaction was, "You gonna wear that?" And I wish I could take all of those times back, because what did that do? I mean, first off, there could have been another way that I could have said it that wasn't so negative and insulting.
Right.
It could have been, next time maybe we try to choose a clean shirt,
Right.
but go for it, or you say nothing, because
Right.
you know what? You gave them the power to
Yep.
independently go choose. And then I just critiqued what they did
Yep.
and made them feel bad about their choice.
Absolutely.
So,
And I think it's probably something we all do as parents, not not to bring them down or to ridicule them, but it's just a natural it's just a natural flow to when you see your child come down dressed, or they're wrinkled or they're not matched or whatever it is. It's just,
mhm,
that's what you're going to wear to school today. I mean,
uh-huh.
think about it. I'm sure we've all done it, or I'm sure we've all said it. I think I did it to my husband last week. I think I said to him, "That's what you're wearing? Black and blue like that?" What I should have said was, "I think the gray shorts would look nicer with that." You know?
Yes.
But in the same on the same token, for we did it to Avery. All her life, we labeled her shy. We just kept telling people, "Oh, she's shy. She doesn't like, she's quiet or she's this, she's." And one day she turned to me and she said, "You know what, mom? I'm not really shy. I'm just taking it all in."
Mhm.
And, you
She
know,
to she
yeah.
told you.
Yeah. And then you think back to all the times that she heard me tell people she's
Mhm,
shy,
mhm.
and it's not who she was. It's not who.
Yes.
And for her, that I'm sure she's probably gonna be discussing that with her therapist for years to come, just
Mhm.
like I'm discussing the cow comment with my therapist so many years later. So, just that's what we're getting at today, the power of your words.
Mhm, mhm.
Just
And this transfers to friendships.
yep,
This transfers to coworkers. This is not just about your role
parenting.
as a
Mhm.
parent. So I think we need to just be a little bit more mindful. And sometimes less is more,
Yes.
right? And if you feel that strong urge to like want to blur it out and say something, maybe just take a pause and don't.
The
And
power of the pause.
mhm, back at it
Yep.
because, you know, I don't think that we all set out in with the intentions to make other people feel bad.
No, and I would say in most cases that is not anybody's intention. But if I hope this is resonating with some of our listeners out there, because we don't have the intention to scar our kids or
Mhm,
to make a student feel bad or to make a friend or a coworker think negatively about them. So there are very few people that I think are really coming at you with those ill intentions.
mhm.
But that's why the power of the pause is so important. Think about, if you were hearing that, how would you interpret it?
Yeah.
If someone pulled out one of your insecurities or something you weren't so sure about, how would you feel? How does it make you feel? We've all had it. We all have those words that trigger us, or or words that just don't feel comfortable for us when people use them or talk about other people in that way. So I think, I don't know, just the power of the pause, looking at it from a different angle.
What I'll say is that we do make mistakes and there's no perfect parent. And even when we try our best, we say things that we want to immediately take back.
Yes.
So we want to show that we're human. We have to apologize. It can come in whatever form you're comfortable with as a parent, whether it's right away or after some reflection, like the next day. You know what? I was thinking about that conversation we had, and I said ABC. That really wasn't very kind and thoughtful. And I'd like to apologize for that. And you don't have to fill it with now niceties to try to build them back up. I think a simple apology, and I'm going to work on my words better.
Yep.
And again, we're setting the example and
Yes.
being a role model for our children.
I think that's a whole nother episode, the power of an
Of the
apology.
apology. Yeah. Yeah. But I think what we just want to leave you with today is to remember that, you're not just raising a child, you're shaping their inner voice and how they talk to themselves
Yes.
in those moments and what they will say to themselves as they grow older when you are not there
Yep.
to be the cheerleader, to be the one giving them encouragement and things like that. So,
Carrie, I
I
think that is such an excellent point, and not only are you're also helping to shape how they will then in turn speak to others.
people, yes. Yeah. So, if parenting wasn't difficult enough, now we're throwing on this next really I mean, it's a huge one because
Yeah,
I
it's
think we
well,
say things in different moments of time when, we could be rushed for time, or we're trying to motivate, but our, you know,
if you think
disappointing voice comes out, and
right.
all these different things. And we're not saying like, oh, you need to sugarcoat everything,
No.
but I think we just need to be aware and more aware of what we're saying.
Yeah. And to your point, Carrie, like you go to the doctor, you decide whether you're going to have vaccines together. You go to the doctor, or you figure out what foods to give next together, and then you think about the bottles or nursing or um what school they're going to go to, and then you throw this into the mix too. Wait a minute, I have to think about how I'm talking to my kid.
Hmm.
We know that it seems like a lot, but we're just trying to point out something that maybe you didn't think about before.
Hmm.
And maybe even if you just tweak one thing you might say, or take away one label from your child that you have given them. Or, and you know what? Here's something else. If you have a child who you've been calling shy, or you've been calling lazy, or whatever label you've given them, maybe sit down with them today and say, I never really thought about that. How did that make you feel? I'm sorry if I made this a part of your identity. That was not my intention. Let's talk
Hmm.
about it. I mean, it's never too late. It's never too late to have a
Hmm.
powerful conversation.
Yeah, and I think a few simple word, switches could really be helpful. For example, like, instead of, your thought would be, well, why did you do that? Well, instead of saying why, you start with, tell me, tell me how you're thinking. Tell me how you made that decision,
Yep.
right? Because you want to hear how they walked through the thought process and got to the decision. The word why and the way we say it with that inflection already is setting the negative tone. So
Yes.
maybe even just try those few simple word changes and see, maybe now your kid is a little bit more open to share and talk
Yep.
and not be put on the defense. So give it a
Absolutely.
try. Let us know how that
Yep.
goes. Or maybe you have another way that has worked really well for you and your family. We'd love to hear.
Absolutely.
So I loved being on location here. We might have to
We have to
try it
try this
again.
again with a different place.
Yes, we
Where
will.
in the world are Carrie and Jessica?
So anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate, share this episode with a friend, and follow us on Instagram, Parent Coaches Unleashed, and send us an email always with new topic ideas, info@parentcoachesunleashed.com. Bye, Jess.
Bye,
Thank
Carrie.
you. Thank you for listening to this episode of Parent Coaches Unleashed with Carrie and Jessica. Together, we can raise the next generation of independent, capable, and compassionate young adults.
We encourage you to send us an email with questions and feedback to info@parentcoachesunleashed.com. Please remember, you are not alone on this parenting journey.